Welcome back to A Journey to a Mile. Today we're going to go through the process that I'm going to use to set my eye relief while installing this optic onto this rifle. So a little bit of housekeeping real fast. I do have a chamber flag in here, but we'll go ahead and confirm everything is unloaded. I did a physical check. Everything is safe. We'll put the chamber flag back in, make sure we keep it that way. So a few things on this chassis. Obviously I have an adjustable cheek riser as well as the adjustable butt pad. So one of the very first things that I want to do is get my length of pull adjusted for myself. So I've kind of already done that on this rifle. If you want to adjust these out, you go through that process. Make sure that that's super comfortable on where you're at. You have a good consistent trigger pull and a good feel on that. So I've done that process already. Today's really around the eye relief, but that's an important part because this is going to adjust, where my head ultimately is sitting within this position. So I do have my Nightforce Uni-Mount on my rail already, although this has not been torqued down yet because it's likely I may have to move this along the rail in order to find the optimal spot for the relief. I also normally would be doing this in multiple different positions, from a prone position, maybe off of a tripod, as well as on a workbench like this, to confirm that I have good eye relief from all of those different positions. For the sake of the video today, I'm just going to focus purely on doing it while it's on this workbench. And then before I get this permanently mounted, I will go through and do the rest of those checks off camera and make sure that it's all set up and good to go for me. Your eye relief is super important. You don't want to be having to move your head around and adjust side to side, front to back every time you go to apply, whether you're, at a range or using it in a competition, whatever the case is, that's all time, right, that you don't want to spend. And you're not going to be as consistent. Remember, your accuracy and your precision is all around how consistent you can be. So the more you get this set up, having that in there so it's comfortable, you have good view through the optic, and it's repeatable, the better off you're going to be. So take your time, do this the right way. If it's not working for you, repeat the process until you get this right. So first thing I'm going to do here, you notice I do have the tops of my rings off. Like I said, this mount is on, but it's not torqued down yet. It still has been pushed forward as if I was going to torque it in place, but this way I could move it if I need to. I'm going to take my optic, and before I place this in here, I'm going to go ahead and move my magnification all the way up. So this has a 25x magnification setting. I'm going to put that all the way in there. That's going to give me the least amount of eye relief possible, which then as I lower that magnification, it's more forgiving. So by setting and doing my checking with that at the highest magnification, that ultimately is going to give me my best result. I also want to point this at a, white wall with some light reflecting off of it, something along that line, so I get lots of light coming through here. I don't want this on any type of dark surface as I'm going through. A couple of real important things. First off, I'm not worried about level right now. This is all about front to back placement of this scope. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of starting in the middle of these individual scope body, the tubes here. I do not want my rings touching any of the tapered sections, whether that's in the center body or as it tapers off into the different lenses on the front or back. So make sure you kind of start in that middle. If I get too close to one of those edges, I will likely move my mount across different rails. In some cases, you may need to use individual rings instead of a Uni-Mount like this to give you that exact placement. Your setup is going to be different, so get a feel for that. There's different ways that you can do that before you invest in your mount, just so you get an idea. The other variable here is the height of your mount. So this particular one is a 1.5 inch height. Depending on how high your cheek riser goes, if it's adjustable, not adjustable, you may need to adjust this height. There's a lot of different conversations around the heights and relative to, the ballistic data. Ultimately, this is going to be very minimal, if any whatsoever, so I wouldn't worry too much about that height. as you go. There's different videos out there. I'll let you go review some of those, make your own opinions on it. My objective here is I want to be able to still leverage my night vision bridge, whether I use any type of night vision on here or I'm using some other type of accessory. So I wanted this raised enough. It's not going to show up anyway, but I want to make sure that that's going to get center aligned. And so that's how I chose this particular height, since I can adjust my cheek riser for any adjustment here needed to get my eye relief set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these on, although I am not going to torque this down whatsoever. So very, very light. This is really just to protect, make sure that my optic does not fall out as I am doing it. So again, very, very minimal pressure on this whatsoever. Not even, I wouldn't even say this is finger tight at this point. It's, you know, as soon as I feel just a small amount, I am stopping and getting that in place. Now I do like to keep my ring tops aligned with how they came from the manufacturer. And so I'm very diligent about where I place them down, what position I put them in, even what screw position they're within, so that everything stays as that came manufactured. Whether or not that has much difference or not, you know, kind of hard to say, but that is just something I do as a personal preference. So again, not tightening this down. I'm not worried right now about like the gaps in my rings, anything along that lines for the regular installation. This is just to secure this in place, allow me to have some motion still. This is actually probably even a little too tight, so I'm going to loosen that up, as I want this to be able to move relatively freely front to back. Not too worried if it rotates right now. So now that I have that kind of slightly in place and just keeping this so that my scope doesn't come out, obviously open up my lens caps here. And I'm going to now position myself behind the rifle, get my cheek in position. Again, I'm looking at a bright white wall, and this is fully magnified in. So we'll get down onto my workbench, and now I can start to move this front to back a bit. Make sure I'm in a good position. I like to close my eyes, open them and stay relaxed. And I'm looking for any of the ring shadows on the edges of the scope. If there's anything there, I can adjust. You want to get this as bright as you possibly can, and then repeatable process. So right there is looking pretty good, although I probably want to adjust. I have a slight shadow on the bottom, so I'm going to bring myself up just a little bit on my cheek riser, see how that's going to play out. Definitely better. Try to reset. And I might have come just a tad high, so I'll go back down. Oops. Just that little bit. And now let's come up. So you can see I'm still pretty well centered, so I think where my mount is going to work out just fine. So this is a good indication of where I'm going to be at. So from here, again, I'm just going to give just a little, 2 fingers, no pressure. Snug that down. Then I will finish the rest of the installation process now that I know about where my eye relief is. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not happy with just that small test. I want to go through full testing with multiple different positions, make sure this is exactly where I want it to be. So that little bit of snug is just going to keep that in place a little bit better as I move it around and try it from those various different positions. And that's really all there is to for setting up your eye relief. Relatively simple process. Again, take your time, check it, double check it, triple check it, make sure your eyes are staying relaxed, and we'll go through that process and you'll get a much better experience all in all. If you like this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. We look forward to bringing you some more content very soon, and check out the full installation video on the rest of the process that I'm going to go through and making sure that this is level and everything is set and dialed in. So we'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.